Hello guys. Today we are going to see about ERCS, which means Online Result and Railway Concession. It is a website for applying for concession and as well as checking out your result at a single place. As we click on Getting Started, we are directed to a place where you have to select your roles, which can be either student or an administrator, both of which have their respective login ID and password. Now if we choose the role of student, we are being asked for the SAP ID, which is a 11-number ID which identifies each student uniquely. In case if we enter a SAP ID which has a length greater than 11, in that case we are being prompted with the error. In the same way, if we enter an invalid SAP ID, in that case we are being prompted with the error. The SAP IDs are already present in the college database, so they are being referred in order to check if the student has a valid SAP ID or not. If the student is using it for the first time, in that case a random generated password is being mailed to the student. After entering a valid SAP ID, we are redirected to enter the password. The password for the first time users will be the random generated password. After that we are asked to choose our task, which is either to apply for concession or to check the result. There is also an option for the student to change their password according to themselves, so that it is easy for them to remember their passwords and also it stays unique. The password strength criteria is being applied, which states that the password should contain alphabets A to Z, numbers 1 to 9 and symbols in order to create a good password. Once you enter the new password and click on the Change Password button, in that case the password is being changed and a copy of which is sent to the student in case if the student forgets the password. After that, on coming back to the task menu, we can select either of the task being shown depending upon the student. In case if the student clicks on Apply for Concession, the student has two options: one for checking the status of the application or for applying for concession. The status can be pending or printed depending upon the status of the form at the admin end. On clicking on Apply for Concession, we are asked to fill the following details. After filling the details, the student has to tick the checkbox to ensure that the data is true and correct. On doing so, the student is allowed to apply for the concession and the request is being forwarded at the admin side. In case if the student tries to put in a source station that is different from the source station which is specified in the student details, it causes an error. Similarly, if you have already applied for a tenure of 1 month or 3 months, then you cannot apply for another concession for that specified tenure. So in case if you apply again, an error indicating the date and time when you last applied for concession is been displayed at the top. Now coming back to the task selection, if we select the result task, we are being asked to put in the semester for which we want the result. In case if the result is not being updated from the admin end, it stays blank and shows no data. As we are done with the functionalities of the student side, let's get to the admin part. The admin has two roles. The admin can either be the result admin or the railway concession admin. First, let's just check the tasks that are being performed by the railway concession admin. Every admin is being assigned with a unique ID and password which is used to log in into the admin side. The railway concession admin is allowed to perform tasks such as granting and printing the concession, updating the student details, updating the concession details and deleting the invalid request. As we go to print concession task, it contains a table which shows all the requests which are pending to be granted. The admin can select the concession to be granted by ticking the checkbox corresponding to the student SAP ID and then entering the form number. The form number has a format of capital W followed by numbers. After doing so, when the print selected button is being pressed, a blank PDF is generated containing the essential data at the specific location which is printed on the concession form being provided by the railway department itself. After the PDF is generated and the print is taken, the status at the student end is being updated to printed, notifying the student to collect their concession form. Now if we check the print concession option, the request which we granted will be removed from the table. Now if we go to the delete concession option, we are prompted to enter to SAP ID. On entering the SAP ID, if we click on delete pending request, in that case the pending request for that SAP ID will be deleted. If there is no pending request for that SAP ID, then an alert notifying the same is displayed at the top. Now in case the student wants to change certain details such as the address, then in that case the admin can update the student details by using the corresponding option. The SAP ID of the student has to be entered whose details are to be updated, and any wrong data filled is being notified to the admin. After filling the SAP ID, the Get Details button is being pressed, which fetches the data and allows the admin to make the required changes. Supposedly, if the admin mistakenly erases some field and tries to update the form, an error is being showed which indicates that the form is being incomplete. Now it is also possible that the student might have mistakenly made a wrong request for the class option or the tenure option, so in that case the student can request the admin to update it. The admin needs the SAP ID in order to do so, and it is only applicable to those requests which are pending, otherwise an error is being displayed. Let's see the result part of the admin in ERCS. The result is currently being updated by the developer of the website AVD team itself by using the MySQL server. The required data is being provided by the admin department to the team. The team is working to develop a functionality in order to let the result admin directly update the result in the database using the Excel file with the specific defined format. Now let us check a student for whom the result for a particular semester is being updated in the database. Again, as we select the student, we are being prompted to enter the ID and password. The ID and password are being stored in the database by applying cryptographic algorithms so as to ensure the safety of the student as well as the admin data. Now as we see, the result for semester is being updated. The result is being divided in 4 parts, which are theory, term work, orals, and pointers for each subject. This helps the student to easily check upon his or her marks without any hassle, and it also provides a clean and tabular representation. The database will contain all the semester results that the student has appeared for, providing the student to access his or her result anytime required. As we already know what happens when a student logs on for the first time. Now let us see what happens when an admin logs on for the first time. The admin has to enter his respective ID which he or she is being assigned, and then press the next button. On doing so, the admin is being given the option to select the role of either being a railway concession admin or the result admin, which is being displayed in a drop-down menu. After the role is being selected, the admin has to then click on the login button, which appears after a specific role is being selected. On pressing the login button, a random password is being generated and being mailed to the admin's mail ID, and also the role for the admin is being specified in the database so that when the admin logs in the next time, then they only have to enter their login ID and password. The random generated password is being mailed by the email ID of the AVD team. The random generated password can be pasted in the password section, and then the process can be validated and completed. In this case, we have seen that the admin took up the role of being the result admin, so the details about it are being updated in the database. As we know that the random generated password is large and random in nature to be remembered, so for that purpose let's change the password by going to the change password option that is being provided. After the password is changed, a copy of it is being mailed to the admin's mail ID, same as in case of the student's change password. Now on logging in for the second time, the admin just has to enter the ID and password, which will be checked in the database and validated, and the admin will be redirected to its respective task page. Thank you for watching a demo of the project. We hope you like it, and any suggestions are welcomed.